Once upon a time, in the enchanting landscapes of the north, where snowflakes danced in the moonlit night, and the aurora borealis painted the sky in hues of green and red, Evangeline Frost sought refuge from the chaos of the holiday season, finding solace in a cozy cabin nestled deep within a snow-laden forest, where the air was crisp and the ambience was imbued with the magic of Christmas. The cabin, adorned with twinkling Christmas lights and festive decorations, exuded warmth and joy. Little did Evangeline know that her solitary celebration had drawn the attention of an ancient entity, the Reindeer Skinwalker. As the night unfolded, the celebratory ambience shifted. Mysterious jingle bells resonated in the crisp air, accompanied by distant hoofbeats that hinted at something otherworldly. Despite these subtle warnings, Evangeline remained blissfully ignorant, captivated by the enchantment of the holiday season. However, the air grew heavy with an inexplicable unease. Eerie sounds wafted through the winter night, and the flickering Christmas lights cast long shadows that danced on the walls. The Reindeer Skinwalker, drawn by the festive energy, lurked just beyond the frosted windows, its presence casting an ominous pall over the cozy cabin. In the flickering firelight, Evangeline began to notice fleeting glimpses of something unnatural in the snowy landscape. Whispers of unease passed through her mind, but she dismissed the growing disquiet as mere figments of imagination. Little did she realize that the ancient legend was unfolding around her. The Reindeer Skinwalker, a creature neither fully reindeer nor entirely human, emerged from the snowy shadows. Its eyes glowed with an unholy light, and its twisted form defied the laws of nature. Panic gripped the lone traveler as the festive celebration transformed into a nightmarish encounter with a Christmas entity gone awry. Driven by desperation, Evangeline decided to make a daring escape through the snow-covered forest. The once celebratory atmosphere now became a chilling maze, with the Reindeer Skinwalker relentlessly pursuing her. The jingle bells, once associated with the joy of Christmas, now echoed ominously through the frosty air. The snow-covered trees seemed to close in on Evangeline as she weaved between them. The Reindeer Skinwalker, cunning and relentless, mirrored her every move. Her breath hung in the frigid air, visible in the glow of the moonlight that filtered through the evergreen branches. The climax reached its peak as Evangeline faced the cruel reality that her Christmas getaway had morphed into a fight for survival. The Reindeer Skinwalker, an embodiment of Christmas nightmares, remained hot on her heels. The once merry celebration had transformed into a haunting escape through the wintry wilderness. What happened next would forever haunt the memories of Evangeline Frost. Did she manage to elude the clutches of the Reindeer Skinwalker? Or did this ancient Christmas legend claim her as its own? The snowy forest, now devoid of holiday cheer, held the secrets of that fateful night. As she traversed the frozen landscape, Evangeline exchanged furtive glances with the unseen pursuer, her face etched with a mix of fear and determination. The Reindeer Skinwalker, fueled by an ancient malevolence, seemed to draw strength from the very symbols of holiday joy that adorned the forest. As she pressed on through the snow, the winter winds whispered through the evergreen trees, carrying with them the echoes of the Northern Lights' celestial dance. Evangeline's holiday getaway had become a chilling chapter in the folklore of the North, a story that would be retold around many fireplaces with a shudder, a tale of a Christmas that turned into a nightmare. The Reindeer Skinwalker faded back into the shadows, leaving the snowy forest to bear witness to the lingering aftermath of a once celebratory night. The North, veiled in its icy beauty, held the secrets of that fateful Christmas. A story of ancient legends clashing with the modern festivities, reminding us that even the most joyous seasons can be fraught with unexpected terror. The Reindeer Skinwalker remained a spectral presence, its form shifting between the shadows of evergreen trees. The jingle bells, once festive and innocuous, now chimed with a haunting resonance, as if the very essence of Christmas had twisted into something malevolent. Snowflakes continued their graceful descent from the night sky, creating an ethereal backdrop to Evangeline's desperate flight. The forest, once a sanctuary of natural beauty, now bore witness to a clash between ancient malevolence and the spirit of the season. Each footstep in the snow echoed with a sense of urgency, Evangeline driven by an instinct to survive the supernatural encounter. As she navigated through the labyrinth of trees, the Reindeer Skinwalker's pursuit intensified, its eyes glowing like malevolent embers, fixated on Evangeline as she weaved between snow-laden branches. The air crackled with an otherworldly energy, and the temperature plummeted as the creature drew near. Desperation etched itself into Evangeline's face as she realized the gravity of her situation. Christmas, a time usually reserved for joy and togetherness, now unfolded as a harrowing test of courage and resilience. Her breaths formed frosty clouds in the frigid air, mirroring the tension that hung between them. In the distance, the cabin, once a beacon of warmth and festivity, now stood as a distant memory. Evangeline's attempts to outpace the Reindeer Skinwalker seemed futile, as if the very landscape conspired with the ancient legend. The snow-covered terrain, illuminated only by the soft glow of the moon, offered little solace. The forest itself seemed to come alive with a sinister energy. Trees whispered secrets in the night wind, their shadows elongating and contorting into eerie shapes. Evangeline, senses heightened by fear, began to question whether the very nature around her had aligned with the Reindeer Skinwalker's malevolence. As she pressed on, fatigue and fear took their toll. Each step through the thick snow became more arduous, and Evangeline cast nervous glances over her shoulder, half expecting to see the glowing eyes of the creature. The once unbroken camaraderie now wavered under the weight of uncertainty. The landscape, painted in shades of silver and blue by the moonlight, became an endless expanse of uncertainty. Evangeline stumbled upon an ancient-looking structure, partially obscured by the snow. A dilapidated barn, weathered by time, stood as a relic of a bygone era, adding an eerie layer to the unfolding nightmare. With trepidation, Evangeline sought refuge within the dilapidated structure. The creaking door swung open with an ominous groan, revealing the desolate interior. The air inside hung heavy with the scent of decay, and Evangeline huddled in a corner, her eyes fixed on the entrance. The barn, a place once filled with the sounds of livestock and the bustle of daily life, now harbored a palpable sense of abandonment. Dust particles danced in the moonbeam's glow, and Evangeline strained her ears for any sign of the Reindeer Skinwalker's approach. Time seemed to stretch in that eerie sanctuary as Evangeline awaited her fate. The creaks and groans of the old structure echoed through the silence, amplifying the sense of isolation. In that moment, the lone adventurer held her breath, wondering whether she had evaded the reindeer skinwalker or merely delayed the inevitable. Outside, the moon cast its silvery glow over the snowy landscape, revealing the desolation that had befallen the once festive forest. Evangeline, her face etched with exhaustion and dread, began to question the very fabric of reality. Had she ventured into a realm where ancient legends and modern festivities collided? As the minutes ticked by in the stillness of the barn, a distant sound caught her attention, an ethereal melody that seemed to emanate from the very core of the forest. It was a haunting tune, a blend of jingle bells and distant whispers, as if the reindeer skinwalker itself composed the soundtrack to her nightmare. Evangeline exchanged uneasy glances, her senses on high alert. The barn, once a dubious sanctuary, now seemed to amplify the spectral ambience of the night. Shadows played tricks on the walls, and the air became charged with an inexplicable energy. Just as despair threatened to envelop her, Evangeline noticed a subtle change in the atmosphere. The haunting melody outside began to fade, replaced by a hushed silence. The air, once thick with malevolence, lifted, leaving behind a profound stillness. Cautiously, the lone adventurer emerged from the barn, greeted by a surreal scene. The moon hung low in the sky, casting an otherworldly glow on the snow-covered landscape. The jingle bells, once a foreboding symphony, now melted into the quiet serenity of the north. The reindeer skinwalker, it seemed, had withdrawn into the shadows, its ancient malevolence temporarily satiated. Evangeline, though shaken and exhausted, felt a glimmer of relief. The forest, once an ominous maze, now beckoned her with an almost serene allure. With cautious steps, Evangeline retraced her path through the snow-covered terrain. The cabin, still adorned with twinkling lights, appeared on the horizon like a beacon of safety. The lone adventurer, her resilience tested by the ordeal, moved with determination through the pristine landscape. As she approached the cabin, a sense of normalcy returned. The festive lights, though now tinged with an air of caution, still flickered in the night. The warmth of the fireplace beckoned, promising solace and respite from the wintry wilderness. Inside the cabin, Evangeline gathered by the crackling fire, her face illuminated by its comforting glow. The events of the night, though etched into her memory, seemed like a surreal dream. The calm solitude, though tempered by the ordeal, returned like a balm for her weary soul. And so, as the night waned and the first light of dawn painted the sky, the lone adventurer reflected on the Christmas that had turned into a nightmare. The reindeer skinwalker, a creature woven into the fabric of ancient legends, had tested her resilience and solitude. As the first rays of sunlight bathed the wintry landscape, Evangeline embraced the dawn of a new day, grateful for the warmth of the cabin and the resilience that had withstood the test of an otherworldly encounter. The north, once a place of enchanting beauty and foreboding mystery, retained its secrets, leaving the lone adventurer to wonder if the reindeer skinwalker would forever haunt the snowy forests, or if it would return to the shadows, awaiting the next unsuspecting wanderer who dared to disturb the tranquility of the holiday season. And so, Evangeline, forever bound by the eerie tale of the reindeer skinwalker, a Christmas nightmare, continued her journey through the snowy landscape, mindful that the line between celebration and supernatural terror could blur in the most unexpected ways.